Be still and know that God is in control. Trust Him with your life. Do you ever question if God is near? Grammy Award winners, the Archers, were pioneers of the Jesus movement in the 1970s and the first artists to record Andrae Crouch's Jesus is the Answer, a song beloved around the world. And after 50 years of sharing Jesus, Tim Archer has a message for you. This is his story. This is today's Nashville. This is faith. Tim, what a blessing to sit down with you. Welcome to today's Nashville.
Well, thank you, Terry. I appreciate being here.
50-ish years are coming up.
50-ish, yeah.
50-ish. Let's go back. Tell me all about it. Jesus is the answer. A lot of people know about that. Let's talk about it.
Well, going back, that really does go back to the very early days because we were mentored. We had the privilege of getting to know Andrae Crouch, the great Andrae Crouch, wrote To God Be the Glory and all the great songs. He kind of took us under his wing. In doing so, he helped us make a 45. If you remember what those are, little
45s.
Small vinyl.
Yeah.
Our first two songs on a 45. Then he encouraged us to make an album. And so we had some songs. We had come out of my dad's church where we were doing outreaches. And we became a group through that. People would ask us to come. And
Where were you?
Palmdale, California.
California, okay.
Yeah. And that's where we were born. My parents are from Oklahoma, but we were born in California. And so Andrae encouraged us to make this album, and he took us to a famous studio down on Sunset, TG&I, which was a story studio. And he had ministered to a band who was a club band. And they all came to the Lord. And so they became the band for our record. It's kind of a story, interesting story, how they all got saved by him leading them to the Lord, and then they became the band. Well, we needed a couple of songs. We were minus a couple of songs. And one day, Steve and I were in the office with Andrae and Sandra in Panorama City, California. My older brother and his partner had a booking agency, and they booked Andrae, and that's how we met him.
How old were you at this time?
We were probably 19, 20, something like that.
Young.
And Steve was like 18, 17, something like that. So we asked Andrae that day, we said, hey, we're minus some couple songs. Do you have a couple songs maybe we could use to put on the record? And and there was a piano in one of the rooms, so we went in there, and he sat down and he said, well, I've got this one. It's called It Won't Be Long, which is a very famous Andrae Crouch song that's actually on our New Legacy Live. And then he said, well, I've got another one, but I haven't finished it. And that was Jesus is the Answer. And so Steve and I sit there with him and Sandra while he finished the second verse of Jesus is the Answer so we could take it to the studio and record it. So he gave us those two songs before he ever recorded them.
So you were the first group to sing that song.
Yep.
What did it do to your career?
Well, I mean, it was, looking back, at the time we were so young, we didn't realize even what was happening to us. But he played a big role in our lives in the early days because he really was a mentor. He was such a loving, such a beautiful man. And he even, at that point, once we made the record and then we got signed by Benson, they bought that record and reissued it as The Archers. And he took us on the road with him. I think the first time we played Seattle, we played for 4,000 people because we were opening for Andrae. First time we played St. Louis, we played for 5,000 people. So he had a tremendous impact. We toured all over the country with him, to Florida and different parts of America. So he was good to us.
So what happened after traveling with Andrae?
Well, people liked our music. And I think the first time we got airplay was a song we had on the first record called Life in Jesus. And they played that on Southern Gospel radio stations, even here in Nashville, because we were with Benson, which was here in Nashville. And also they played Jesus Is the Answer. And then people, Benson helped us make another record. Bob McKenzie did, and the guy that discovered us. And he was also a good mentor for us. I would call him the first contemporary music mogul. He discovered the Gaithers, the Archers, Don Francisco.
Well, you were at the beginning of the contemporary Christian music. Did you realize that your group, your family was a big part of that?
Yeah, we began to realize that. We lived in Orange County, California at that point, which is where Calvary Chapel was. And that was a whole movement that, began out of there with the hippies. And we came out of church as preacher's kids. And, but we all were friends. And we used to play Calvary Chapel and now and then. And we got to know the Michelle Pillars and the Love Songs and, people from that era. And we were all friends. They had a place there called Maranatha Village. And it was actually like a market, they had a jeweler, it had all kinds of different things. That's where CCM magazine began. And we would do signing parties and things like that. But what happened with our second record, we just began to get a lot of bookings. And so we were traveling big time. I think our popularity had a lot to do with the amount of traveling we did too. We sang for about every college in America had a Christian label, and venues all over the country. So that was a lot of good things that happened at that time. And then some significant things happened after that.
Well, you were on television.
Yes.
You were all over the media.
Were. And we were doing conventions. We were doing David Wilkerson's big rallies. We were working with Kenneth Copeland on a couple of conventions in these big convention centers. We were doing all kinds of, people were calling us to be a part of their thing. And we got a lot of coverage.
Did you know at your age this is what you wanted to do?
Yes.
From the very beginning?
Yeah. Well, Steve and I had an opportunity to sign with Hollywood and to do records and movies. And we went up, did an audition at the top of Beverly Hills with some famous people. But it didn't work out, meaning that we decided we weren't going to do that. And we just felt that wasn't the right thing.
Did you ever think about crossing over to pop music?
At that point, I met a famous actress. I was working in a men's store, and I met a famous actress, and she's the one that spurred that. And they had a company. They would discover people, and we took Andrae, my dad, and my brother with us to this audition up on top of Beverly Hills, and they wanted to sign us to a 7-year contract and all that, and do Disney movies, all kinds of things. And there was a gentleman there who was very pivotal in us not signing that contract, and he was a part of their group. So it was like God wink, said, maybe this is not the way to go. So we stuck with our Christian music, and
there you are.
The rest is history. So.
Well, we're going to talk about what happened to your voice, how God took you through a trial, whether it wasn't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that when we come back.
Thank you.